back, baby.
Offense, you know what to do.
It's football time in Tennessee.
Huh?
Give me Tennessee.
To find out what the women are here soon.
Oh, way to start talking right when the recording starts.
Oh, no, you're good. He could edit it out.
I'll edit it out. I'm the one who edits it, cocksucker.
Yeah. Keep that in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in. This is the latest episode of the 1796 Sports Pod. We got a special edition. This is the Bracketology episode. If you're listening to this, we just found out what the bracket will be. We're excited. I think that's fair to say. And basically today is going to be all in honor of Selection Sunday. We're obviously going to start off with what the Vols draw is, and then we're going to do a bracket together as a pod, and it'll be fun. So if you don't know, Tennessee is the 2 seed in the – what are we in? Midwest?
Yeah, Midwest. Yep.
We're the 2 in the Midwest division. So that's Purdue's region. So, Jim, what was your initial thoughts? I know, but I want the audience to hear. How'd you react to Tennessee landing as the 2 in the Midwest?
So, I mean, I expected a 2 seed obviously getting knocked out early in the SEC tournament. But, I mean, we talked about it before. We obviously see that the SEC tournament doesn't mean anything because Auburn's a 4 seed in the UConn bracket. So, I think we got a good draw here. I think a lot of the better teams are in the top of the bracket. But, we obviously have Creighton and South Carolina and even Oregon. Oregon's a good team. And then we got UT Junior that we could possibly play in the round of 32. But St. Peter's as a first game isn't no slouch either. Zakai will be playing his brother. But this is something Tennessee's got to go in and take care of. But I think this loss coming out the SEC tournament is going to help this team. One could only hope.
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Ryan, what did you think initially just of where we're at?
I'm just so thankful we're not in the South. The South to me is the bracket of death. I mean, yeah. When Marquette was the 2 seed there, I rejoiced. I want to no part of playing Kentucky again in the Sweet 16. I want to no part of facing Wisconsin or Houston or Duke in the Final Four. I mean, no. I was very happy to see us end up in the Midwest, and I think the toughest team in the Midwest besides us is Purdue. I mean, that's all there is to it. So I'm very happy with where we ended up.
Yeah. I made the comment off record that it makes me a little bit nervous because there's several teams that beat us already, a few teams that beat us already. And by a few, I mean South Carolina, Kansas, and Purdue. So, but like we always say on here, it's hard to beat a team twice. So maybe that gives us an edge. We're not giving up on Rick Barnes after the tournament like some fans are. So I think we'll have a pretty good, comeback. I think we'll be fine. We'll have a pretty good game plan if it comes to that. St. Peter's, people will say they've been on a couple Cinderella runs before, or, they went on a Cinderella run a couple years ago. But that makes me think they're not going to do it again. It'll be cool. It's a cool little storyline, the Ziegler brothers. But, I don't think anybody really thinks we should struggle with that. And then, playing Texas the next game, most likely. So I do think it sets up pretty nicely for us to get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Me and Ryan talked about it after because me and him actually were at the tournament this weekend for our game. But I don't care. I understand, Rick Barnes did get outcoached. He really did. There's no question about it. But when your team's shooting 16 for 69, you're not going to beat anybody. And Mississippi State is no joke. Mississippi State has a good defense. They have a point guard in Josh Hubbard that can score whenever he wants, pretty much. And he didn't even play that well against us. It was more Cameron Matthews. But anyway, like I said, Rick Barnes got out coached. This team should learn from it, and definitely don't be sleeping on St. Peter's. And I guarantee you, Rick Barnes is telling them that about the whole Kentucky thing, and they know it happened. You can't let that happen again. And but yeah, I think this team's going to be ready, and I obviously don't expect us to shoot 16 for almost 70 shots. So.
Oh, well, another thing that I think is huge is the fact that this game is going to take place in Charlotte. So,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
that, basically, it's a home game.
yeah, but before we get into breaking down some matchups, potential matchups for Tennessee, I just want to, I've said it for 2 months now, how much the SEC tournament really doesn't matter. Because you look at Auburn, who was going to be a 4 seed if they lost in the first round of the SEC tournament, goes on a run to win it. They're top 10 Kim Palm, and their reward is being the 4 seed in UConn's bracket. So, like, it's just so stupid. I mean, that's all I have to say.
Well, it's like I said, it can only hurt you. It can't help you. Like, if the Vols would have won the SEC tournament, they'd be a 1 seed, most likely. If you lose in the first round, they'll probably knock you down a peg or two. If you win the whole damn thing, they're not going to move you up.
Yeah, it just blows my mind. I mean, and you look around the country. I mean, Purdue didn't win the Big Ten tournament. Houston didn't win the Big 12. North Carolina didn't win the ACC. We didn't win the SEC. Arizona didn't win the Pac-12. I mean, it's just it's like I said, I've been saying it, the tournament is not indicative of what's been going on the whole year, and I think the seedings prove that point.
Yeah. Jim, this is the moment we've been waiting for. What do you guys want to start off with? Do you guys obviously
I would probably start off in the East with the number 1 seed out of everybody.
Okay. So,
I mean, go ahead.
For everybody in the audience, what we're going to do is we're going to fill out the bracket together as a pod. There's an odd number of us, so there'll be a tiebreaker. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, so I got the bracket pulled up here. Obviously, we have the first matchup, UConn versus the number 16 seed Stetson. Now, none of these teams, I mean, you got to think, obviously UConn is obviously the favorite, but the teams that get in this tournament specifically, are really good teams. I mean, it's not easy to get to this stage. So even if it's a 16 seed, obviously you have to take into, an upset factor. But personally, I feel like this is the one game where I think all three of us are going to say UConn, and this should be handily probably a 20-point win. And,
So I think I'm kind of uniquely qualified to talk on this one because Stetson is in my alma mater, Austin Peay. Stetson's in their conference. And kind of breaks my heart a little bit because Austin Peay played Stetson for the ASUN championship. So this could easily be Austin Peay here. But Stetson didn't – I mean, Ryan, you watched it too. Like, Stetson doesn't look overly impressive. They rely on a lot of threes. They get dominated in the post.
Yep.
I do not think Stetson has – this is their – Jim, I don't know if you knew this or not, but this is Stetson's first time ever in the tournament.
Yeah, so it's going to be a hard, thing to come on a big stage like this against arguably the best team.
I mean, yeah, like they're going to be excited. It's their first time program history, but the talent disparity is too huge. I don't think Stetson has the profile to upset UConn. So pretty easy UConn pick for me.
Yeah, I definitely concur. I mean, Stetson relies on, it's like you said, Bryce, threes, and they don't have much of a post presence. I mean, good on them for winning the ASUN, but I think their magic runs out in the first round. So,
all right. So we'll click UConn here. So UConn's moving up. So next you got, these are my favorites. So you got the 8 versus the 9.
Mm-hmm.
You typically coin flip games. You got 8 seed FAU versus 9 seed Northwestern. Jim, where are you leaning on this one?
So, I mean, Northwestern is led by Boo Buie, probably one of the best point guards with the best name, um, in the Big Ten. I'd say one of the best point guards in the Big Ten. Um, the dude averages 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and almost 20 points per game. I mean, Northwestern's a pretty veteran team here. FAU is kind of a Cinderella story last year, but they haven't been as impressive as you know, in my opinion. I mean, they beat Texas A&M, they lost to Illinois, and they even beat Arizona. I'm talking about FAU here, but Northwestern they beat Purdue, they beat Michigan State, and they beat Illinois. So I mean, both these teams. This is a toss-up game here, but I'm just gonna go with the veteran lineup here, and I'd pick Northwestern here.
Yeah, I agree. I think Florida Atlantic's Cinderella run last year was real cute, but Northwestern's experienced. Northwestern shoots better, and a lot of the time that makes the difference in the tournaments. Florida Atlantic is also horrible at shooting free throws, which I feel like could matter in a game like this. I'm going to lean on Boo Buie and Northwestern here.
Yeah, I think Florida Atlantic's magic ran out last year when they made that run to the Final Four, including a win over Tennessee in the Sweet 16. But whatever. But yeah, I really think it's like Jim said. Northwestern has beat great teams this year. They have a dynamite player in Boo Buie, so I'm going to go with Northwestern as well.
All right, so UConn and Northwestern move on. Five seed San Diego State versus 12 seed UAB. These are always fun upsets too, because there's usually at least 12 beats a 5, sometimes multiple. So it's just the way it shakes out. It usually works out that way. So the thing about this game, Jim, go ahead.
I'll let Ryan go first this time since I went first last time.
I mean, it's kind of the same story with FAU. San Diego State, magical run to the Final Four last year. I'm going to go with Andy Kennedy and the UAB Blazers here. I'm picking the upset. I really like Andy Kennedy. He was the coach for Ole Miss for years and years with Marshall Henderson when they made that SEC tournament championship run. Mm-hmm. I really believe in Andy Kennedy here and UAB.
Yeah, so like the thing about it, if you San Diego State's resume is impressive. They're undefeated against top 25 teams. But they're also one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in Division I. Like, they're not good. So they can't really shoot. UAB, isn't the best shooting team either. But UAB does score more points than San Diego State. Like you said, they've got a coach with tournament experience. San Diego State, they went on that magical run last year. I don't know why. I'm just biased against teams that do that. I think I know it's just there's so much luck that goes into it. I think it's hard to go deep 2 years in a row if you're not a blue blood, basically. So yeah, I'm going UAB here too.
See, I'm probably on the other side of the fence. We're obviously going to pick UAB in the bracket to go ahead, but I think San Diego State here has too good of a defense to they'll hold UAB to lower points here. They both score about the same per game, and UAB gives up a lot more points on the defensive end. So I would not be surprised to see San Diego State win here. But for our bracket, obviously, we'll pick UAB to move forward.
All right, so we got UAB going, and then they're going to play the winner of Auburn, 4-seed Auburn, and 13-seed Yale. So, Jim, you start us off this time.
Pretty even matchup as you look at the stats and the data, but I think Auburn's way too good for Yale. I think Auburn's going to score a lot of points. They got good big men. I watched Yale play, earlier in the week, and they got a couple good guys on their team. But I mean, the SEC being as tough as it is, and Auburn being able to win the tournament at the end, I think I like Auburn here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty easily Auburn. There's another 13-4 matchup that I like the underdog in later, but Auburn's too good. Janai Broome is going to dominate against Yale. I don't know if y'all watched Yale's championship game, but they had a tough time with Brown. I think Yale, they're a good team. Like, there are teams in this bracket that Yale could beat, but I think Auburn is going to dominate. I don't think this one will be particularly close.
Yeah, Auburn has too much for Yale. I mean, it's like you said, Bryce. Yale squeaked by a 13-18 Brown team today in the Ivy League championship. So,
And Bruce
not a
Pearl's
big
a good coach.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Pearl is, at least at Auburn, he's a great tournament coach. I mean, he made one Elite Eight with us, but other than that, he has a similar record to Rick Barnes at Tennessee in the tournament. Just a little side note there, but yeah, I'm definitely going with Auburn here.
So UAB Auburn matchup of Alabama teams. So we'll move on. We have 6 seed BYU versus 11 seed Duquesne. So Ryan, you'll go first here. Quick note though, Duquesne is making the tournament for the first time since like 1979. They're a really cool story. They beat VCU today. I watched that game. They beat VCU to clinch their first spot in like 50 years. So that's always cool.
Yeah, I mean, good for Duquesne, Duquesne, whatever you want to say.
It's
But
Duquesne.
I know it is. I know it is. It just sounds close enough to Kenny Chesney's where I wanted to make a joke. So, but yeah, BYU's been a very, very solid team in the Big 12 this year, and that's the best, if not. I mean, it's probably tied with the SEC for the best conference in the country in college basketball this year. I I really believe they have too much for Duquesne. I'm going to go with BYU here.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go with Duquesne just because it's a cool story, but Duquesne cannot shoot. They're a really good defensive team, and they have a couple good bigs. But BYU has really impressed me this year. I mean, coming into the Big 12 and holding their own, being very good. I mean, they've got 4 top 25 wins. I just think BYU's got too much for them.
Yeah, I'm on the same page here. I mean, BYU could shoot lights out. I think this could be a 10 to 15 point win for BYU.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty comfortable win. I think it's an easy pick here.
All right. So BYU's moving on to play the winner of 3 seed Illinois and 14 seed Morehead State. Morehead State, famously Kenneth Farid's university. Anybody remembers him? So, Jim, what's your thoughts on this matchup here?
Now, a lot of people are going to easily pick Illinois, and I would not be surprised. But Morehead State, man, keeps their opponents down to 60 points a game, 62.8.
They have an elite defense.
Yes, their defense is really good, but Illinois' offense is really, really good. So, and their defense is, I'd say, pretty good. But honestly, I think Illinois' offense is going to be a little bit too much for Morehead State. I like Morehead State here.
You like Illinois?
Or Illinois, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois obviously has the best player, and Terrence Shannon Jr. The more I think about it, though, I like the upset here. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Morehead State. Morehead State shoots lights out from deep, and they play defense. That's a great March combination.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Their defense is really good. I just, honestly, it all depends on how Shannon Jr. does. If they could shut him down,
that's the thing, yeah.
I think I like your pick there.
He's good enough to take over the game by himself, but I'm trusting that Morehead is 61st in college basketball in 3-point shooting. Illinois is 124th. I just think Morehead can hit enough shots. If they lock down everybody but Terrence, I think they can pull out an upset here.
I really want to agree with you, Bryce, but I don't think Morehead's defense is good enough to slow down Shannon and their – they have very good front court depth too. Illinois does. So
That's fair.
So
And Moorhead doesn't really play anybody, so I get that.
yeah, I really want to pick Moorhead, but I'll have to stick with Illinois here.
All right, so I'm selecting Illinois. So that sets up 6 seed BYU playing 3 seed Illinois. So now we move on to 7 seed, excuse me, 7 seed Washington State versus 10 seed Drake. Ryan, what's your thoughts here?
Give me the Drake Bulldogs every day of the week. Washington State plays in the Pac-12. I just don't believe in that conference outside of Arizona. And Drake has a dynamic player in Tucker DeVries. I don't know how you say his name, but he averages 21.8 points per game, almost 22. I think he's the type of player that will bode well for March for whoever team he's on, and he happens to be on the Drake Bulldogs. So give me Drake.
Their version of Dalton Connect.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, that's what I was. Yeah, Drake's also incredibly hot right now. I mean, they're 9-1 in their last 10 games. Their strength of schedule is way better than Washington State's. Only knock against Drake is they didn't play a single top 25 team. They shoot lights out. I mean, they hit their free throws. They hit it from deep. I mean, Drake puts points on the board, and I think they will overpower Washington State. An interesting note about this, so Drake is the 10 and Wazoo is the 7, but the majority of users on CBS actually are picking Drake. But I just think, like you said, Ryan, for the reasons you outlined, I think Drake gets this one.
Yep, I'm on the same page. I think Washington State plays in a, obviously it's a dead conference now, but I think Drake's going to pull this one out. Like you said, they got a version of Dalton Connect on their team that can score lights out, and I think Drake's ready for the big stage here.
All right, Drake moves on. They'll play the winner of number 2, Iowa State, and number 15, San Diego State. Jim, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this.
I mean, to me, I think Iowa State has such a good defense to where it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough for South Dakota State. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be a full-on blowout. I think this game might be a lot closer than people think because these teams both average around the same score per game, but Iowa State's defense is a little better. But they got a guy, Zeke Mayo, that again he scores almost 20 points per game, and he could score the ball. But I'm still going Iowa State here just based on their defense.
Yeah, Iowa State's more of like an all-around complete team. I mean, they're 6th in the net. Like they're just a complete all-around team. There are other two there's at least one other 2 seed that I think I would pick San Diego State to beat. I just don't think they match up very well against Iowa State, so I'm going to go Iowa State here.
I agree. That's all that needs to be said.
All right. The East matchups are set for the round of 32. Let's head over to the West. So you got the number 1 seed in the West is North Carolina, and they are playing against, we don't know yet. They're playing against either
Howard or Wagner.
Wagner or Howard. I don't think it really matters. But Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, North Carolina is one of the hottest teams in the country. I really don't think this is the year that a 16 seed is going to go down. I mean, we've only seen it twice in history, so
it ain't going to be this one.
No, I don't think so. So go ahead and give me North Carolina.
Do we even need to add anything else?
No.
All right, so
this should be a easy one.
North Carolina is going to move on, and they're going to play either 8 seed Mississippi State, who we know well, or 9 seed Michigan State. This one I'm excited for. Jim, lay it on me.
Now, this is probably one of the most evenly matched 2 teams here. Now, we played Mississippi State. Obviously, we weren't at our best, and they beat us twice this year. So, and we played Michigan State as an exhibition game way earlier. But, man, I am a huge fan of Mississippi State here. I think between their big Tolu Smith and Josh Hubbard, I think they're going to be a little bit too much for Michigan State. Now, this game I think is going to be real close. I think this one goes, down to the wire, but I just think Mississippi State's going to take the win here.
I mean, I think this is probably the most even matchup that there is. I mean, in net, they're almost identical in net ranking, almost identical record against top 25 teams, almost identical strength of schedule, points per game. Like in every category, they're almost identical. But for the same reasons you said, Mississippi State's two best players are going to be enough to carry them here.
Well, I guess I'm overruled, but I trust Tom Izzo over Chris Jans. Tom Izzo is the epitome of a March Madness coach. I really don't see Mississippi State winning this game, but we'll go Mississippi State.
That is fair.
We'll mark this down. I'm keeping tabs on what we are having like mishaps at, and we're gonna come back to it later after the games are done.
I mean, it's very fair that y'all are picking Mississippi State just based on how good they're playing down the stretch. But
we're also a little biased because we watch a lot more Mississippi State. But I've seen what Mississippi State can do against good teams. I just trust them. So yeah. UNC Mississippi State. Moving on, this is another one that's very interesting to me. It's 5 seed St. Mary's versus 12 seed Grand Canyon.
I really think St. Mary's is about the only competition that Gonzaga has in their conference, and they normally are right there with Gonzaga for the I don't even know their conference, but the conference out west that they're in, they're normally very solid. I think so, but they're normally a very solid team. I think St. Mary's has the experience in March to carry this matchup into the round of 32, so I'm going to go with St. Mary's.
Yeah. I mean, Grand Canyon, anytime you go to, I don't care what conference you're playing in, if you go 29-4 in the regular season, that gets people's attention. St. Mary's defense is absolutely elite. I mean, they're holding teams to under 60 points. Now, granted, it helps when you get to play against, Pepperdine and Pacific, but I think St. Mary's is going to put the clamps on them. And Grand Canyon is a high-powered offense. But it's easy to be high-powered when you're playing against Dalton Connect's old team. So I'm leading St. Mary's here.
See, and here's another game where I think we have a mishap. Okay. Now, St. Mary's, obviously, any team can win in March. But I just think Grant Foster over here, averaging 20 points a game, is going to take offense to what you guys are saying, okay? I understand St. Mary's is good on defense, but they play in the Mountain West. The only team they really play is Gonzaga, and Gonzaga isn't even the Gonzaga we know from past years. I mean, Grand Canyon's defense isn't terrible, but they score 80 points a game. I think this game's going to be a good one. Obviously, I'm overruled here, but I would not be surprised to see Grand Canyon move on here.
Yeah, I mean, I know I picked St. Mary's, but this is another one of those games where it would not be surprising to see me be wrong here. But we'll go St. Mary's for now. They're going to play either 4-seed Alabama or 13-seed Charleston. Ryan, what do you think here?
Alabama doesn't play defense. Charleston hasn't lost a game since February 1st. Give me Charleston in an upset.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because I hinted at this one earlier. This is one of the 13s that I like. Charleston has been incredible since February, like you said. And they actually do play somewhat defense. Their defense isn't great either, but they play more than Alabama does. I do think that Charleston will play a complete game. I think they'll get enough done to pull the upset.
All right. Now, I do think Charleston will win this game, but if I was making the bracket, I'd probably pick Alabama here just because their offense is – if their offense is playing what their normal offense does, they could score 120. So for that reason, I'd pick Alabama in a bracket, but I like in my brain and my mental, I'm picking Charleston to win.
All right. So moving on. 6 seed Clemson, 11 seed New Mexico. These are always fun as well. Jim, you got a thought
Oh
here?
yeah. Oh yeah, I do. Oh man. I love New Mexico, man. These kids play with passion. They have great scorers on their team. They have 3 great scorers on their team from Jamal Mashburn, Jalen House, and Dent, the freshman, who, I mean, this team plays at a super fast pace. They score real good. Now their defense is all right, but I mean, Clemson's defense isn't that great either. But this is an upset for me. I think New Mexico is getting looked over, especially by Clemson. And give me Jamal Mashburn to score 30 this game.
Yeah. See, so it's funny that you mentioned that because New Mexico plays fast paced. Clemson does not. Clemson's going to want to drag it out, make it a street fight. I mean, PJ Hall down low is a beast. But I do think New Mexico's got enough playmakers to get that upset here.
Yep, I absolutely agree with both of y'all. New Mexico won their conference tournament. They won the championship over San Diego State. Clemson plays in a dog shit conference outside of Duke and North Carolina. So go ahead and give me New Mexico and the Lobos.
All right.
God, I love March, man.
I love it so much. So the Lobos are moving on to play either 3rd seed Baylor, 14 seed Colgate. Ryan, what are you thinking?
Bears don't wear toothpaste. Baylor's going to clean house.
Yep. I personally don't think much more needs to be said here. Colgate is a good shooting team, and they've won a game in March. They've won in March before. Like, they're capable of winning big games. But Baylor is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. I just think Baylor's got too much offense.
Yeah, I'm on the same page here. Again, in my mental, I'm picking Colgate just because sometimes Baylor's offense does not like to show up. But Ray Dennis, man, that kid's a good point guard, and Jacoby Walter, another one who could score. I'm going Baylor here.
All right, Baylor moves on. We got 7 seed Dayton, 10 seed Nevada. Jim, what are you thinking?
Now, this is a game, man. I mean, the teams, again, super even. But, again, Nevada is a very experienced team. They have a lot of guys that are returning from last year. Now, Dayton's got a guy, Deron Holmes, that scores 20 points a game. Jared Lucas, though, is a March guy, in my opinion. And I think Nevada takes this one.
Yeah, I do too. Nevada has played 4 top 25 games. They've won 3 of them. They put points on the board. You know, Dayton is a team that typically does make March Madness. Like, this isn't new to them, but overall, I think Jared Lucas is going to carry them. I think Nevada puts enough points to get it done.
Yeah, I guess we're going to go with Nevada, but I also disagree with y'all here. I think Dayton is, it's like you said, Bryce, they're very experienced in March Madness. And if you want to talk about bad luck with the basketball program,
2020.
Yeah. Dayton was about to be a number 1 seed, and the tournament got canceled. So, I mean, that's just it's not really relevant now. But I think Dayton has enough experience to win this game. But if y'all want Nevada, I'll go ahead and type in Nevada.
All right, so they're going to play either 2 seed Arizona or 15 seed Long Beach. I don't think much needs to be said here. I don't think Arizona's going out this early.
Now, don't sleep on Long Beach. Don't sleep on Long Beach. But like you said, I do think Arizona's going to win this game. But I don't think Long Beach is going to go lightly.
I mean, Marcus Sahonis is a dog, but Ryan?
Yeah, Long Beach is one of the teams that makes me think that a lot of these smaller conferences should just go with the regular season champion as their auto bid. They were not great during their conference schedule. Pretty sure they were hovering around 500 and got hot in the tournament. So I'm I'm very much confident in Arizona taking care of business here.
All right, moving on to the South. So y'all called this the group of death, so this should be interesting. Number 1 seed Houston playing 16 seed Longwood. Do we think there's any shot here for Longwood?
I mean, there's always a shot in March, but I think Houston's defense is too good. I think Houston will win this one.
Mm-hmm.
No complaints, Ryan?
Mm-mm.
All right, Houston moves on. Another really even interesting matchup, 8 seed Nebraska, 9 seed A&M. Ryan, what do you think?
You know, A&M had a great ending to the season. I mean, we all know what they did to Kentucky in the tournament. They honestly should have beat Florida on Saturday to be in the championship game against Auburn, but they blew that halftime lead. But the thing about Nebraska, you want to talk about a player built for March. I mean, I really don't know how to pronounce his name.
Tominanga.
There you go. He has been playing incredible lately. And I
Jeremy
really think
Lin.
Exactly. But he's the type of player that I think carries teams in March, and I'm going to go with the Cornhuskers here.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm sorry, Jim. I know you wanted A&M, but I think like Ryan said, I think Nebraska is just a complete team. I like Tominanga. Nebraska scores more points and allows fewer points. They're a better shooting team. A&M is just so streaky, man. And I think Nebraska is a more fundamentally sound team.
Now, we're picking Nebraska here, but mark my words, Texas A&M is one of the hottest teams going into this tournament. I think Wade Taylor and Tyrese Radford are going to lead this team to at least win this game, because Houston's going to be a problem for either one of these teams. But I think Texas A&M is going to take this one.
All right. We got 5 seed Wisconsin, 12 seed James Madison.
Oh, yeah.
Jim, start us off, buddy.
Wisconsin, you're a bunch of frauds. Give me James Madison and the Dukes. This team is good. I honestly see this team going further than the round of 32. I think JMU is going to beat Wisconsin, no problem.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to be – I honestly think JMU could beat them by 10.
Yes.
JMU shoots the lights out. Wisconsin was absolutely horrible to start the season. They've got on a little bit of a roll late, but even now they're 5-5 in their last 10. I think Wisconsin is – I think they're frauds. I don't think they should be a 5 seed. I think JMU can win this comfortably.
Well, it looks like we're going with James Madison, but I disagree. Wisconsin just took down Northwestern, who we all agree is they have a very good chance in this tournament, and they just took down Purdue as well, which not a lot of teams have done this year. And James Madison being 31-3 in the regular season is exactly the reason that I think that they won't win. But I guess we'll go with James Madison.
It makes sense. I totally get your reasoning. I just think Wisconsin's just too streaky for me, man. But I guess in March, that doesn't really matter. I'm interested to hear y'all's thoughts on this one. It's 4 seed Duke and 13 seed Vermont. Vermont's one of those teams that always finds their way into the tournament. And this isn't the Duke that we grew up with, but it's still a very good team. Jim, what do you think? I'm sorry, Ryan, what do you think?
Give me Duke. I think Duke is another one of those teams that just plays well in March, except for last year when Tennessee took them down in the Sweet 16. But I think the experience of that game combined with, they were 4 seed last year, they're 4 seed this year again. But I really think Shire, the new coach, and as annoying as Filipowski is, I think he is the quintessential Duke player that carries them to at least the Sweet 16. So I'm going to go with Duke here.
Yeah, I mean, Duke is the more talented team with the better coach, pedigree, all that. There, like I said, in other teams, there are teams I would pick Vermont to upset. Duke ain't one of them, though.
Ooh. Now, I'm going to be the odd one out here. but the Blue Devils have lost their last 2 games, and they rely a lot on having that 6-man come off the bench. But if I'm Vermont, I'm going at Filipowski and getting him out of the game. And to me, if you could get him into foul trouble, Vermont plays a pretty good, solid defense here. I'd pick Vermont in a close one, but we'll pick Duke.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. All right. So I knew you would have something about that. Moving on, we got 6 seed Texas Tech and 11 seed NC State. Jim, where are you going here?
Very evenly matched teams here. NC State is one of those teams that is red hot. They just beat North Carolina, a number 1 seed in the conference tournament. I mean, DJ Horn is that dude. And DJ Burns, I don't think Texas Tech has anyone the size of DJ Burns, old ex-Vol. So I'm going to lean NC State here. I think this one's going to be a close one, but I like NC State being red hot.
Yep.
I'm gonna disagree here. So Ryan comes down to the third vote. I think NC State's magic runs out. Texas Tech is a solid team. They're 28th in net. They play defense, and they shoot threes. I think NC State's luck runs out here. I think they used it all up in the tournament.
Yeah, besides Duke and North Carolina, I'm fading every ACC team, no matter if they won the conference tournament or not, no matter if they have DJ Burns or not. The thing about DJ Burns is that he's 300 pounds. He sucks wind after like 10 minutes. So they're going to run up and down the court. I mean, I'm definitely going with Texas Tech here.
Hurt my feelings.
I love him, but yeah. Okay, so Texas Tech is moving on. They're going to play the winner of number 3 Kentucky and 14 Oakland. Jim, I know you're going to have a fiery take here.
Honestly, I really don't. I think Kentucky is going to be pissed off, just like Tennessee is. I think Kentucky is going to come in pissed off. Now, they don't play a lick of defense, but I could see Kentucky scoring 100 here, and I just don't see Oakland keeping up.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky doesn't play a lick of defense, but Oakland doesn't either, really. And Oakland doesn't really have any offense. I don't think there's any chance. I think this is a double-digit Kentucky win, unfortunately.
Now, I take that back about the no look of defense. They play defense against us, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Kentucky as well. I mean, Oakland they play in the Horizon League. They have a pretty decent player in Trey Townsend who just dropped 38 points in their conference title game, conference tournament championship game, I should say. But I agree with Jim. Kentucky's gonna get their shit together, at least for this first round.
All right. Next, you have 7 seed Florida and in a play-in game, and it's either going to be Boise State or Colorado. So Florida against either Boise State or Colorado. Ryan, what do you think?
Florida's offense is too good.
They're so hot right now.
I know they're coming off, 4 games in 4 days, which causes me some pause here. But I really think with a few days to rest, Florida is going to win this first round matchup, no matter who they play.
Yeah, I agree. So, Jim, do you disagree?
Not so fast.
Oh,
not so fast, my friend.
Which side do you like then?
I like Colorado. I think if Colorado gets in this tournament and plays Florida, I think they could easily beat Florida. They slow the game down a little bit. They could play fast. They got a guy, his name is KJ Mother Effin Simpson, probably one of the best point guards in the country that no one talks about. This kid could shoot lights out. He was a great guy to play at the point. They got a guy named De Silva, and they got this guy named Lampkin Jr. At the center, who's a big dog. I'm just saying, if Colorado gets in, Florida should be worried because Lampkin is coming for that ass.
How confident are you that Colorado will beat Florida?
I'm very confident.
All right.
I think I think Florida, I can't look at their stats right now because it can't pull up, but I just think Florida can score. Don't get me wrong. But Boise State, man, I think if they slow the game down and play through their big man Lampkin and KJ Simpson doing KJ Simpson things, I think Colorado can win this game.
You know what? I'm going to let you be the tiebreaker this time and pretend I had the third vote. We're going to go play in. So play in moves on.
No, now, well, if Boise State gets in, I think Florida annihilates them. But if Colorado, which I think Colorado will get in,
then we're just gonna assume Colorado beats Boise State and Florida. I'm fine with that. I don't feel very, we'll switch it up. They're gonna play either Marquette or Western. Ryan or Jim, sorry.
Ryan, go ahead first because I like doing the not so fast thing.
Okay.
Well, that tells me you're gonna pick an upset.
Okay, listen. If you want to talk about a fraud, Marquette's a fraud.
Thank you.
I mean, besides Shaka Smart taking VCU to a Final Four 15 years ago, he is a shitty March coach. Ask Texas how they fared after they fired Rick Barnes and hired him. I mean, he's not that great in March besides 15 years ago. Western Kentucky won the Conference USA tournament. Give me Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky has Mitchell Robinson, but all right. I'm gonna.
You already know where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys have it. Western moves on. Tell me why, Jim. Tell me why.
I'm on the same page as Ryan here. They are fraudulent, and Western Kentucky, man, they could freaking score the basketball. And I just think they're going to be ready to play, dude. I think Marquette's going to overlook them. I mean, Don McHenry, bro. He's got the name. He's got the name for March. Don McHenry scoring 20.
I mean,
boom. I'm down.
Anytime a team goes through the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders to win their conference tournament, you know they're legit.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to the Midwest. This is the most important one. So, do we think? I think, you say anything's possible in March, but there is a 0% chance Purdue loses to a 16 seed again.
No, that ain't happening. No, no one on either one of those teams can cover Zach Edey.
Nope. Purdue moves on.
Yep.
8 seed Utah State, 9 seed TCU. You talk about, Jim's obviously got a hot take for this one, so Jim, you start, buddy.
All right, hey, give me the Horned Frogs here. The TCU can run up and down the court all game long. They're super fast. They can score. Utah State, don't even know who you play. You trash. Give me the Horned Frogs here.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree as well. I mean,
TCU plays a much tougher schedule. They're much more battle tested. Utah State beats up on like Wyoming and Utah Valley. So we'll go TCU here.
Big 12 over the Mountain West all day.
Now here's a sneaky little trendy pick. Yeah, 5 seed Gonzaga, not the Gonzaga we grew up with, and 12 McNeese. Ryan, let's hear it.
Gonzaga. McNeese is too much of a sneaky pick for them to actually win the game. I'm going with Gonzaga. I'm going with Mark Few. I'm going with Gonzaga, they're not that good this year, but that is exactly the reason that I think they will make a run to the Sweet 16.
I totally agree with you. I think it's too trendy. It's too like everybody is going to pick this. Now McNeese is totally capable of winning. I mean, they're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. They're shooting almost 40% from 3 as a team. So if it gets out of hand, like they could definitely win a high scoring game. But Gonzaga is here every year. Like Gonzaga ain't losing in the first round.
Is this thing on?
Yep.
Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast. Gonzaga, another fraudulent program. Now, don't get me wrong. They got the players, but I don't care. Shahanda Wells scoring 18 points per mother effing game. He's going to go off. He's going to play. This team is going to play with passion. They're going to play to win this damn game. Gonzaga, you're frauds. Give me McNeese.
Now I wish I picked it. It's all right. Gonzaga. All right, so Kansas, 4-seed Kansas, 13-seed Samford. This is another little sneaky pick. Samford is a tough team. Samford, they score like freaking crazy. I mean, they average almost 90 points a game. They shoot lights out. They shoot 40% as a team. But it's Kansas. I don't know. Jim, what are you thinking?
Another fraudulent program. They played Tennessee early in the year thinking they're better than us. The Big 12 is going down the drain. SEC is rising to the top. Give me Samford here.
I agree.
I mean, I disagree, but it's just because Samford's biggest guy is only 6'9". Albeit he's pretty good. He averages 16 points a game. His name is literally Akor. He has the same first name and last name. I just don't see him slowing down Hunter Dickinson enough. So I'm going to go with Kansas, but I guess as a group, we're going with Samford.
Yeah,
now don't be aware though. Hunter Dickinson and what's his name are coming off injuries, so
I just don't think it's going to matter because Samford barely misses. Like they
Dude,
shoot.
And we know March, bro. These like at Kansas, they're gonna overlook Samford. They're gonna overlook them, and Samford's gonna come in hot, hitting all their shots. And don't get me wrong. I mean, in anyone's brain, Kansas should win this game. It's March. It's March. It's March. It's March.
All right. This next one is interesting to me, too. You got 6-seed South Carolina, USC Junior, taking on 11-seed Oregon. Jim, where are you going here? Or Ryan, I'm sorry. Ryan, where are you going here?
I'm going with Oregon. This is the only other Pac-12 team that I believe in because they're playing South Carolina, who I believe are frauds. I think they've had too good of a regular season out of nowhere for them to really have much success in March. I mean, Murray Boyles is a great player for South Carolina. So is Michi Johnson. But I really think their dream season runs out before it even gets started in March. I'm going to go with Oregon.
See, I think fresh South Carolina's coach, fresh off that extension. Oregon struggles against top 25 teams. I think South Carolina gets this one done. I don't really believe in them very much. Like, I think they'll probably lose in the next round, but I think they'll get done here.
Not so fast, my friend.
Tiebreaker, Jim.
So fast, my friend. I'm with my buddy Ryan here. They got a guy named Dante. One of probably the best big men they're going to go against, to be honest, because Jonas Adu did nothing against them. Dante is going to get the job done. They got plenty of guys that can shoot. I think this could be a tight game. I think this will be a lower scoring game, like in the 60s. But, again, I think South Carolina had a great regular season, but I just don't think they're going to hang tight in March. I think Oregon sneaks this one.
All right, Oregon moves on. 3-seed Creighton, 14-seed Akron. Jim?
I think Creighton's too good here. They're actually pretty close of a matchup, but I just think Creighton, man, they got Shireman, who's just, again, he's just really good. I think Creighton wins this one.
Creighton wins. Akron is, pretty good, but they played nobody. The MAC is horrible. Creighton wins.
I agree.
All right. Texas, 7-seed Texas versus either Virginia or Colorado State. Ryan, who you got?
I got Texas. I really don't care who wins that 10-seed play-in game. Virginia plays basketball like they're in the 1950s. Colorado State is in a dog shit conference. I'm going to go with Texas.
I am as well, partially because I want Tennessee fans to be able to do horns down. I just think Texas is neither Colorado State nor Virginia inspire much confidence. I don't think Virginia should have even made it. But, yeah, I think Texas will take care of business.
Yeah, I think Colorado State can beat Texas, but they have to get past Virginia first. I think Virginia ends up getting in. Virginia can't score. And I think Texas will just blow the brakes off of them. So, yeah, I'm with Texas on this one.
All right, the one we've all been waiting for. 2-seed Tennessee taking on 15-seed St. Peter's in Charlotte. So, home game for Tennessee. We know St. Pete's history. Jim?
Now, I'm being biased here. Tennessee's going to win this game. But let me just tell you, if Tennessee has a performance like I said before, they ain't winning. Obviously, they won't beat anybody at that pace. I think Tennessee's offense is going to come in hot and heavy. I think they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder after that quick SEC tournament, whatever blunder, whatever you want to call that. I think Tennessee will score too much, and their defense is too good. So I think Tennessee wins this one.
Yeah, it ain't happening. I mean, Zakai Ziegler's little brother plays for them. So that'll be a fun little storyline, but it ain't happening.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, let's see here, in the middle of conference play for St. Peter's, they lost to the mighty Niagara Purple Eagles, Marist, Quinnipiac, and Fairfield. Now, if you told me St. Peter's was their best team in their conference the whole year and cleaned house and then won the tournament, I would be more concerned. But with Tennessee coming off these last two games, I think they've gotten their crazy, awful performances out of the way. So I'm definitely going with Tennessee here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. I think, like you guys said, if Tennessee plays like they played against Mississippi State, they can lose to anybody, but chip on the shoulder, it ain't happening. All right, now we are in the round of 32. Going back over to the east side, we got number 1 UConn, number 9 Northwestern. Ryan, what do you think?
I just don't think Northwestern has enough for UConn. I think UConn, like Jim said earlier, is arguably the best team in the country. I'm definitely going with the Huskies here.
Yeah, I am too. I don't think they're out just yet.
Yeah, I think UConn's way too good. I think Northwestern gets annihilated.
So in this next matchup, we went with UAB from a consensus, but I know Jim wanted San Diego State. So, I mean, honestly, I think it doesn't matter. I think Auburn's advancing.
Yes, same. I think either way the UAB game goes, I think Auburn wins.
I agree.
All right, UConn and Auburn moving on to the 16. And then going down, we got 6-seed BYU, 3-seed Illinois, even though we did have some disagreement there, but I don't think it would have mattered. BYU and Illinois, who y'all got?
Give me the Cougars.
Yeah,
I agree. I actually agree. I think all it takes for Illinois to have a bad game is for Terrence Shannon to not have a good game.
Yep.
I mean, that's all there is to it. And BYU is pretty solid. I mean, it's like I said earlier, they play in the Big 12. I think they're a better conference than the Big 10 this year. I'm definitely going with the Cougars here.
I mean, I already let you guys know I don't really trust Illinois by saying Morehead State could beat them. So BYU for sure. This is an interesting matchup. The next matchup is a local matchup. You got 10-seed Drake against their in-state neighbor, 2-seed Iowa State. Ryan, how you leaning here?
I really think Iowa State's defense rules the day here. I think whatever magic offense that Drake had against Washington State, I mean, I'll backtrack a little. Their offense is pretty good. I don't think it will be magic in the first round. I think it'll just be they're better than Washington State, but I think Iowa State has enough defensively to slow them down and to score enough to win that game.
Yeah, man, it's tough for me. Drake is one of my teams that I think can go on a little special run. I don't love the matchup with Iowa State for them, but I think Drake has enough scoring to get it done. I'm going with the 10-2 upset here.
Yeah, me too. I think their defense is too good.
You're going with Drake?
No, I'm going with Iowa State.
Oh, okay. I thought you – okay. So Iowa State moves on. Going over to the West, we've got North Carolina, 1 seed, against 8 seed Mississippi State. Jim, let's hear it.
I think another team. I mean, the ACC isn't the ACC we, remember it as. But I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I think Mississippi State keeps it going here. I think they're good enough to beat North Carolina. This is a toss-up to me. I think North Carolina is a good pick as well, but I'm picking Mississippi State.
I'm going to go with UNC. I just think veteran team, veteran coach. They've been here before. They've got, their best players been playing on the team for 12 years now. I just think UNC, I don't think they're going out this early.
Yeah, I agree with Bryce. I think if it comes down to Mississippi State, North Carolina, considering I picked Michigan State in that 8-9 game, I really think Baycott is a good enough player to slow down Tolu. And I think, what's North Carolina's guard's name?
RJ Davis.
Yeah, I think he's good enough to slow down or match Hubbard's scoring. So I'm going to go North Carolina.
So the next one's interesting because it's 5 seed St. Mary's and 13 seed Charleston. So assuming that was the matchup, Ryan, how would you go?
I think Charleston continues on here. I think it's like I said earlier when we picked the first round, I think they're a hot enough team to make a run to the Sweet 16. I'm going with Charleston.
So this one's going to be interesting because I'm obviously a bigger believer in St. Mary's than either of you two. I'm going to go with St. Mary's. So, Jim, you're the tiebreaker here.
Give me Charleston all the way.
Oh, I like it, though. All right. Charleston moves on. We got 11 seed New Mexico, another regional matchup here. 11 seed New Mexico, 3 seed Baylor. Jim, I have a feeling I know where you're going, but let's hear it.
The Bears are frauds. Give me the Lobos to move on. They are fast-paced. They want to win. I don't know if you've seen Jalen House's interview after they won their little conference thing. They're here to stay. I think Jamal Mashburn, Jalen House, and Dent, and they just get it done.
Totally agree. No matter what else happened, I would have picked the Lobos anyway. I like New Mexico.
I also agree.
All right. And then they're either going to play 10 seed Nevada, 2 seed Arizona. Ryan?
Give me Arizona. I don't think Nevada is the one to take them down.
I don't either. But, Jim, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Arizona scores too many points. They almost score 90 a game. So, give me Arizona.
All right. Arizona moves on. Going back to the South, number 1 Houston versus 8 Nebraska. Jim?
I think if Nebraska gets to this point, give me Tominaga to beat the Houston Cougars.
Yeah, that would be a hell of an upset. I don't like going because one of these top teams is going to lose early. It's going to happen. It always does. I just don't know if Nebraska's going to do it. I got to lean Houston here.
Yeah, I think I'm going Houston too, just by the slightest of margins. I really don't believe in Houston's offense. I think they obviously ride their defense, but I think they have enough defense to take down Nebraska in the round of 32.
Now, the next one I'm very interested. 12 seed James Madison, 4 seed Duke.
I'm still going to ride with the Blue Devils here.
I'm going to go JMU. Like Jim said, I mean, Jim thought Vermont could beat Duke, and I don't totally disagree, but I definitely think James Madison can.
I'm with you, Bryce. I think James Madison takes a ride to the Sweet 16 here.
All right, we got 6 seed Texas Tech versus 3 seed Kentucky. Jim?
Give me Kentucky on this one. I think Kentucky's offense is just too good for a Texas Tech team.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I agree. I don't think Kentucky's going to go out that easily. I mean, they'll score 120 if they have to.
I disagree. This is where Kentucky loses, but the consensus is Texas Tech, I guess.
Clip it.
I genuinely hope you're right. Like, it would make us so happy if you were right. The next one, the final matchup in the South, round of 32, is 10 seed play-in versus 15 seed Western.
Hey, let me just tell you, if it's Colorado, I actually really enjoyed watching this team play, even though they lost to Oregon. Man, this team plays with passion.
Oh,
I
yes,
think,
it's Colorado or West. We'll just say
yeah,
that. Colorado versus Western.
I think Colorado beats Western Kentucky.
Okay. And in that scenario, if that's the matchup, I agree.
I also agree there.
Okay. Headed to the Midwest. 1 seed Purdue versus 9 seed TCU, Ryan.
I think Purdue advances here. I think, the Zach Edey Circus Act moves on to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, he'll get enough whistles to get them through this round at Purdue.
Not so fast, my friends.
Oh,
not so fast. TCU ain't putting up that stuff with you, the Zach Edey hype. They're going to play too fast for Zach Edey to keep up. They're going to have to take Zach Edey out of the game because he's not going to be able to keep up. Give me TCU in a close one. Woo. But we'll pick Purdue in our bracket, but I picked TCU.
All right, 5 seed Gonzaga, 13 seed Samford. So, Jim, go first.
I think Samford moves on here. I think they're evenly matched on both ends of the floor, but dude, Samford doesn't miss, and I think Samford could beat Gonzaga in a situation like this.
For argument's sake, I am going to go with Gonzaga just for the reasons I outlined in the first round, but I do think Samford could make a Sweet 16 run.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Bryce here. Sorry, Jim.
That's okay.
I really think Gonzaga again rides their experience over a lower rated seed.
All right, 11 Oregon versus 3 Creighton. Ryan, where are you leaning?
I'm going with Creighton. I think Oregon gives too much in a highly physical matchup in the first round, and 2 days later they drop that round of 32 game to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I think Creighton's a better team. I think Creighton's better than Oregon. As simple as that. I would pick Creighton here.
I'm on the same page. I think it'll be a good game between the two bigs, but I think Creighton pulls it out.
All right. Last round of 32 matchup. Number 7 Texas versus the real UT. Jim, where you going, buddy?
Now, believe it or not, Tennessee and Texas are pretty evenly matched. But Texas doesn't have a Dalton Connect here. I think Dalton Connect, this would be a game where he has a 30-point game. I think, Texas has trouble with the top 25 team being 3-8. Tennessee's defense is really good. I think Tennessee wins this one.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think we're going out this early. I'm biased, whatever. I think Tennessee goes on.
I also agree. I think Tennessee just has more than Texas. I mean, Tennessee played Texas last year, and it wasn't that close. So
and we didn't have any offense.
And we didn't have Dalton Connect. So I'm definitely going with the Vols here.
All right. We're in the Sweet 16 now. Back to the East, we've got number 1 UConn versus 4 Auburn. Ryan, where are you going?
I'm going with Auburn. I think Auburn. I don't think UConn has seen a team like Auburn this year, and I think Auburn, Bruce Pearl's, good luck in March, at least at Auburn, like I mentioned earlier, gets them into the Elite Eight with the win over UConn.
Yeah, I think UConn's magic runs out. I don't think they're going any further than this. I like Auburn. I just think Auburn's a really solid, fundamentally sound team.
That's a 3-0 for that. I think Auburn has got a lot of depth. I think it's going to be a nice knockout bang out here. I think Auburn and Janai Broome take this one.
All right. So we got 6 seed BYU and 2 seed Iowa State. Jim.
I'm rolling with the Cougs, bro. I think they could.
Go.
I think they can score. Their defense isn't terrible. I don't know if Iowa State will be able to, keep them from, scoring at will. I mean, both these teams have beaten Kansas. I think, and actually, BYU beat Kansas on the road. So yeah, I'm going with the Cougars here.
You just convinced me, Jim. I'm also going with the Cougars. I think
Well,
whenever
that's
you can
good because I was going to go with the Cougs too.
there you go. There you have it.
So Auburn BYU matchup in the Elite Eight. All right. We'll go to the West. Number 1, North Carolina. 13, Charleston. Ryan, where are you going, buddy?
I'm going with North Carolina here. I think the magic of Charleston runs out in the Sweet 16 matchup.
Yeah, in that matchup, I just don't think Charleston could hang.
Yeah, I agree. I think Charleston will make it a game, but I think North Carolina's just got the better players here.
Yep.
All right, Jim. Next up is your favorite team, the Lobos, taking on the Wildcats, 11-2.
Hey, both of these teams can score. They can score at will. I think I don't care what you guys say. Give me the freaking Lobos here. I think the Lobos are going to make a big, deep run here, and they're going to be the team that everyone's talking about later on next year.
I actually agree. I'm going with the Lobos.
Oh, this is another one that I don't agree with. I think Arizona is just they're more talented. They're more fundamentally sound. They play more defense. I'm going to go with Arizona, but I guess as a group, we're going with the Lobos.
All right, we got in the South now. We got 1 seed Houston versus 12 seed JMU. Ryan,
Give me JMU. Give me the Dukes, baby.
Oh, I want to bad. Maybe Jim will bail me out, but I'm going with Houston.
Nope. Give me the Dukes. Move them up. Move them up, baby.
So we have an 11 and a 12. Still in it.
Hey, it's March, baby. It's
All
March.
Right. All right. Kentucky. Number 3 seed Kentucky versus 10 seed Colorado.
Give me Lampkin Jr. That dude is going to bully Bradshaw on the paint. I don't care. Put Big Z in there. No one's touching Lampkin. They got a guy, KJ Simpson. They got De Silva. They got the players. They got a guy named Williams who's a top 10 draft pick. Colorado can beat Kentucky. Give me Colorado.
I can't agree with you, man. I wanted to put Kentucky out, but I feel like this matches up so good for them. I got to say Kentucky here.
Well, I said Kentucky would lose in the round of 32, so I'm agreeing with Jim.
we gotta play. We got a play-in team going to the Elite Eight. That's so
Heck
cool.
yeah, we do, and they're beating Kentucky's ass.
We're total sicko mode right here. All right, so going back to the East, we have the Elite Eight set. So we've got 4 seed Auburn, 6 seed BYU. Who moves on?
Bryce, you just skipped the South, the Midwest. I mean,
I skipped the Midwest. Yes, I did. Number 1 Purdue, number 5 Gonzaga.
Give me Gonzaga. Give me Gonzaga.
Oof. See, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Purdue. I don't think Edie. See, this is gonna be interesting because I know that Ryan didn't believe in Gonzaga and Jim didn't believe in Purdue to beat TCU. And if it was a Purdue Gonzaga matchup, I would like Purdue.
Give me the dogs, baby. If you want a guy that can match up with Zach Edey, give me Ike. That dude is a boss. He's not going to let Zach Edey boss him around. He's not. It's not going to happen. And Gonzaga's got a good point guard, and they got Anton Watson. I think if this matchup happens, I think Gonzaga can pull it out.
All right. Creighton and Tennessee, 3-2.
God.
Jimothy.
Now I'm trying to take my bias out because obviously I want to move Tennessee up. This would be a fantastic basketball game. I really think this would. They're very evenly matched. I mean, they both score about 80 a game, and Tennessee's defense is a slight hair better. I think Tennessee wins this game because Creighton against top 25 teams is 3-2. Tennessee is 6-4. I'm taking the Vols here.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, Creighton lost to St. John's, whose coach is Rick Pitino, who enjoys, letting his players have hookers on recruiting trips. So I'm going with the Vols.
I think Creighton could easily beat Tennessee.
Oh,
but I'm holding out hope. I mean, what I just said, I think is factual. They could easily.
Yeah. Oh, anybody could lose in March, bro.
On certain days, the way Tennessee plays, sometimes Creighton would blow the doors off of them. But I'm holding out hope that
this is all. Let me just say, this is all coming off of a team. The last time we lost 2 in a row, we won 7 in a row. So I'm going off
100%. I'm not picking Creighton. I'm just saying it is possible for us to just completely shit our pants and get blown out by Creighton. But I am choosing Tennessee. I have so much faith in this coach and players. And anyway, Elite Eight matchups: Auburn and BYU. Jimothy,
give me the Cougs. I think the Cougs are going to keep the magical run.
Final Four for the Cougs. I disagree. I'm going to go Auburn. I just think veteran coach, amazing players, fundamentally sound. I like Auburn. The Cougs run ends for me there.
I'm going to play a numbers game here. I think if Auburn and BYU play in the Elite Eight, I truly believe BYU is going to win just based off they'll have more fans because they have more wives. So I'm going to go with the Cougars.
Let's go, baby. Give us the Cougs.
All right. We're running out the clock here. UNC number 1 versus number 11 New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Lobo's luck runs out right here. I'm going North Carolina.
Agreed.
Not so fast.
Sorry, Jim.
That's okay, but I think
you got your Cougs in though.
That's okay. I think New Mexico is too good, but we'll go with UNC.
You got your Cougs. That's okay. All right.
Fine.
So now this is a real shit show of a matchup. You got 12 seed James Madison versus 10 seed Colorado. I mean, one of you two idiots go.
Just for the memes, I'm going to go with James Madison.
Let's go. Me too.
Not so fast. Give me Colorado. They're going to the Final Four.
You know what? Fuck that. I'm putting Colorado in because that's hilarious. Okay.
Let's go. Colorado. Come on.
All right. Midwest, Gonzaga and Tennessee, baby.
Give me Tennessee all day. I don't care what you say. Dalton Connect is getting us to the Final Four.
All right. Final Four matchups are set. This is ridiculous. If this happens, we should be billionaires. You got 6 seed BYU taking on 1 seed North Carolina, and you got 10 seed Colorado playing 2 seed Tennessee, baby. BYU and UNC. Where are we going?
Give me the Cougs, baby.
Give me the Cougs. The Fighting Mitt Romneys make it to the national championship. I agree.
Sure, let's go with the Cougs.
Yeah.
Tennessee versus Colorado. Wonder what they're going to pick here.
Give me Tennessee all day, baby. Jonas Adu is going to show Lumpkin, whatever his name is. He's going to show him who the big dog is. Give me the Vols here.
Who's the national champion? The Cougs or the Vols?
The Cougs luck runs out. Give me
baby.
the Vols, first national champion, Dalton Connect MVP. That's it. You heard it here first. 1796 perfect bracket. Here we go.
Go Vols, baby.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.